Hello everybody and welcome back to sort of another episode of Hangar Control, but this is a new tool that I'm getting ready to release. We're still a few days out, so don't jump out of your seats just yet, but if you cannot stand when Windows changes your monitor setup, or if you cannot stand the process of trying to export your favorite MFDs, AMPCDs, or DDIs to your third-party monitors or whatever they may be, this tool is here to help you do both of those things. It will control your monitors, it will maintain their position, you can set presets, and it will help you very quickly set up your displays for DCS World on your monitors. Stick around. One app designed to do it all. Hangar Control brings everything together. Control bindings, hardware configuration, mod and profile management, application launching, add-ons, config files, and more, all managed from a single application. Mods Hangar goes beyond just mods and add-ons. It manages profiles, config files, text files, backups, snapshots, and helps keep your community folders clean and organized. Application Hangar launches your entire SIM stack with a single click. Your Stream Decks are fully controlled through the Hangar Control plugin, while all of your other Stream Deck plugins remain active and available. Built by a simmer for simmers, Hangar Control adds new features and hardware support every week based on community feedback. It's a one-time purchase with lifetime updates, no subscriptions. You can try it for free for 5 days with no restrictions at overkillsimulations.com. Just create an account, head to your account page, download the latest version, and get started. And if you're looking for in-depth Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft tutorials, check out my Patreon site. Links to Hangar Control and Patreon are down in the description below. Okay, folks, so I am super excited to finally be able to share this with you. When I first announced Hangar Control, back in, I want to say it was either September or August or September. We released in November. So yeah, it was right around there where I would have at least started the teasers. I had talked about a DCS export manager tool that I had been working on. And I finally got it to a point where it's functional and 100% functional. It's just a matter of adding the different aircraft libraries now. So I went above and beyond that. So let's talk about some of the things right out of the gate to be ready for. For monitors, it will set up your monitors for you, meaning that you set out the layout the way you want it. You can save a preset, you can save a profile, and it will lock Windows the hell out of it and make Windows leave it alone. And if Windows does change it, you simply click a button and boom, we're back in action. Okay, and it restores it, and then you can lock it, and again, it keeps Windows out of it. There are still some things. I'm already seeing some feature requests I teased about in the Discord that I may look into adding. Like I said, we're still a few days out before this will launch. Probably actually more like a week to be realistic. But this tool is going to be really awesome. So if you guys are interested in dropping in feature requests for this tool, as long as they're within reason and things that I can achieve, be sure to join the Discord and put your feature requests in there. That's definitely the best place to put any kind of feature requests. Same thing for Hangar Control. Now, this will be shipped with Hangar Control, but it is technically a third-party application, meaning that it has its own executable that launches with Hangar Control, much like the Sim Monitor from Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, I want to address that. As far as Microsoft Flight Simulator and window exports, it's a completely different process. I haven't even begun to dive into that yet. It is something that eventually I would like to set this up to do, but we are miles away from that. Because with Microsoft Flight Simulator, you have to do targeting, which is a whole different bag of worms. So let's start walking through it, and hopefully I'll address everything that it does. So first, if we come in here to monitor setup, here is where you can do everything that you want to do with them. You can click on a monitor. You can set it as your primary. You can exclude it from the DCS config window, meaning that DCS will not use this monitor. For those of you who are DCS pilots and who have been in similar situations, this is the monitor that I would play DCS on. These are my WinWing DDIs, MFDs, right? So that's the left one, that's the center, the AMPCD, and that's the right one for the Top Gun main instrument panel. Okay. And you can set the resolutions, you can change the resolutions, set the refresh rate, you can set the orientation, you can tweak the position by a very small pixel if you want. Let's actually make this bigger. Let's do this so that way everyone can see everything nice. Hang on, I'm looking at OBS for a second. Should have thought about this a little ahead of time. It's late at night here, but I'm really excited to share this. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so you can also drag and drop your monitors. Okay, so for example, I'm going to save this layout for just a second here. I can take them and I can move them around, and nothing happens until you hit apply changes. Okay, but if I want to just load it, okay, it brings up, I'll be changing the color so it matches the rest of the theme. Boom, back in action. Okay, so, and you can create as many as you want. You just simply click that. Again, don't worry about theming and tweaking, things like that. That's all still to come. Okay, but you can put whatever profile you want, create multiple profiles, really as many as you want. Maybe one for VR, one for your monitors, one for work, whatever it may be. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. The exclude from DCS is a real big one. So where I was going to go with this is DCS pilots, you probably have experienced, if you have multiple monitors like this, where if you have done this kind of setup where you were exporting windows out, or maybe you want this monitor here to be your game monitor, just like me. This is a big 4K TV, but this is my workstation. Okay, this is where I do all my coding, all my work, my day job. I don't want this monitor including in the DCS resolution. And usually what DCS does is you are required to place it on your primary monitor. It will launch on your primary monitor every time. And normally if you want to switch it to launch on this one, you have to set this one as your primary display. Then you can exclude this. It's a pain in the ass. So what Export Manager here will do is it will actually, at the time that DCS begins to launch, for the first 60 seconds that it detects that it has been launched, it will pull the windows over. So for example, this is my play area, and you guys will see what I'm talking about in a minute. This is my main viewport in my config file. So Hangar or Export Manager knows that. And so every time DCS goes to launch, this is still, you guys can see it's set to my primary display. So when DCS launches, it tries to launch on this one. Export Manager sees it, yanks it back over here. Everything from the launcher window to the splash screen that pops up to the authorization, they all pop up here. It yanks it, pulls it over here. Next window pops up here, it yanks it, pulls it over here. Excuse me. Until finally, once you have the GUI, the main menu for DCS World itself, it launches, sizes to the screen appropriately, and you never have to worry about it again. And then that way, what this does, folks, for those who may be new to this, is normally, even though this was my play monitor, I would lose all access to this monitor here. If I had OBS running, maybe a website, maybe a PDF doc, maybe I was watching a movie, who knows? This screen goes black. DCS takes it over. Well, now, by doing this new process that Export Manager can do, that no longer happens. I still have full reign over this monitor here. I can still see it. I can still interact with it, do whatever I want with it. So it's a really nice, handy tool. Okay, so those are just some of the things you can do. You can identify the monitors. Okay, you guys should be able to see. There it is. You guys can see that little one right there. Okay, this guy. It puts one of these on every single screen. Nothing too intrusive, but just simply turn that off and you're back in action. Let me bring that back over. There we go. And then you have the snap. So right now snap is on. If you turn it off, it allows you to move your monitors and screens freely. They don't snap into place, so you can tweak it. Turn the snap on, and now it snaps back into place. Notice that it's following the edges now. It goes right to it. So you have those options as well. So you can really tweak it down and get it to where you want them to be. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes of it, right? Let's get into the aircraft exports. This is where it's all about. So first, you obviously need to set your DCS directory. Your saved games directory is what it's looking for, just your primary DCS folder. And it should auto-detect it, but if you notice the directory is wrong, change it. Coming to the aircraft window, this is where this gets fun. So coming back up here for just a second, I want you to pay attention to the exclude from DCS. Okay, I have 5 monitors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I hit that exclude from DCS, my main view, okay, this is where, for those of you who are unfamiliar, your main view is everything you see when you're looking out the window in DCS. It's the main view, okay? It's exactly what it sounds like. 3840 by 2160. If I hit that drop down, I only see 4 monitors. Excluding it from DCS excludes it from the drop down, so that way Export Manager knows, nope, do not include that monitor. Coming over here, right now we only have the Hornet. That's all I've been testing with. And we set the Hornet. Okay, And this library will build just like anything else. I have to build the library for it, but the nice thing about DCS is they don't really change. Once they're there, they're there. Okay, and so now for like the left DDI, you would come in here, you would say target monitor. So this left DDI, this is the viewport name, and what monitor do I want it to go to? Well, I want it to go to monitor 4. If we come back up here, right there's your number, monitor 4. Okay, that's where I got that from. So go to monitor 4, and then you can size it. Okay, now this, I'll give you guys a hint. You want to keep them pretty much usually a square is what you're looking for. Now, there are things that you're going to have to be concerned with is like bezels and things like that. They're going to change things. The other thing that you need to be ready for and aware of, there is no way to do live adjustments. It's not possible, at least not that I have yet to do. The Lua files, which is what DCS World uses, okay, it uses Lua files. They are loaded at the launch of the sim and then never again. Okay, so all of your export configuration, all of your window positionings, everything like that, it's loaded when DCS launches, and then it doesn't load them again. So there's no way to look at it and make, oh, nope, I need to bring the top down a little bit, tweak it a little bit, and then, you know, you can see it. You can't do that. If you have to make a change, you have to close DCS World, relaunch this, reset it. There's nothing I can do about that that I'm aware of. Okay, and that's been a battle for years and years, even when we were doing this by hand. But what it does do is make the process significantly easier. Okay, so you can start out by filling the monitor. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that number, 768, 765. So we can fill the monitor. Now, I can tell you right now, for most screens that you're ever going to do, unless you are taking up that full resolution, you can see it up there, 768 by 1024. That's not what you're going to want. Usually you want a square. Start with a square. So whatever the width is usually what you're going to want. So let's get that back up to like 765, 768, somewhere around there. We can even do 768. Boom. And we could tweak it down here one by one if we want. Okay. Makes it real easy to do that. I made sure to put those in, and same thing with the actual physical position. I don't recommend touching these unless you have a very specific need. These positions are being pulled from here. Okay, so once you have it set here the way you want and you come into the aircraft exports, you really don't want to touch those again. Okay, so just recommended. All right, and then once you have everything the way you want, same thing we did with the right. There's the AMPCD. All right, you tweak it the way you want. Like, for example, let's go ahead and bring this up to 7.6. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. 7.68, and we're going to kick this one up to 7.68. Okay, and if we got to tweak it a little bit, we can tweak it a little bit. Same thing here. Actually, I think I did notice this was one that needed. There we go. Leave it like that. You're going to hit Assign Export. Okay. Coming in here. Oh, see, I didn't save it like a dork. Nope, other way. 768. Once you hit Assign Export, it assigns that. That's why it goes blank. It's to let you know you did it. It got it. And then the 765. Assign Export. All right. And then if you want, you can also remove the export. You can fill it. We already talked about that. You can also set the name of your profile here. So if you want to make multiple export profiles, these are very important because you will need to select these in the monitor configuration within inside of DCS World. So there's a bunch of different options, a bunch of different scenarios that you may want to use. Okay, so once that's all done, you got everything set the way you want, you would come up here and hit Generate Lua. Now it's going to bring up two different prompts. Again, don't worry about the coloring. I'll get there. And hit yes. And then it tells you that they've been loaded successfully, and hit yes. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to launch DCS so you guys can see this last part. By the way, real quick, you also have these options I'm sure you guys have seen at the bottom. These are all already functioning. You can start it with Windows. On top of starting with Windows, you can tell it to start minimize. If you do that, that's where this becomes powerful. Okay, and that's why also, by the way, if you hit lock layout and this is running, as long as it's locked, Windows won't touch it again, and it'll leave your damn monitors alone. Okay, even if it reboots, once it starts back up, it'll take it and put it back the way you had it. Anyway, so let's go back to what we were talking about. Let's launch DCS. Now, you guys aren't going to be able to see the whole shebang because I don't have my camera set up, but I want you guys to be able to see what happens on as the screen pulls up. So it may yank it now. Boom, it's gone. So let me do this. I'll tell you what. Let's do the display. Let me change my display that we're monitoring. Where are you? 3840, 2160. Let's see if it grabs it. We could have a problem. You guys are going to have to bear with me a minute. I was not expecting to do this. It's sort of a flying by the seat of my pants kind of thing now. Stay with me. Stay with me, Jim. Oh, USB monitor. Why did it go to USB monitor? That's weird. That's what we want. Okay. So you guys can already see what's happening here. Let me do this with it, because I want you guys to see all of this. I got to bring this all in. Bear with me. And so, yes, it really is in the corner like that. And that's because it's set for a resolution that matches my original monitor. Okay. So now when we come over here, there it is. I want you guys to see the settings real quick. This is really weird. I'm using OBS as my monitor. Settings. So you guys can see it already set the resolution, and it already set the DCS export HC. But always check it. Okay, when you get to the launch window, check it. Once you're happy with it, then you can do the whole run launcher at start. You can turn that off and just have it fire it off. Okay, but I do recommend the first time you do this, until you get it all the way you want, make sure you check these. Okay. And then anyway, so now, because it does edit the resolution to match the resolution of the canvas that we built. The canvas that we built is this. This is our canvas. Okay? So, let me pull that back up. Now watch what happens again. So we're going to go... Oh, literally I was clicking on OBS. This is so weird. So now we're going to launch DCS. You guys are going to see sort of a weird behavior here. Give me just a second here. Stay with me. So now the icon's initially on my workstation. Give it a second. Bear with me. There's the splash screen. I got the authorization window. Hang on. Stay with me. Oh, you know what? The time expired because I was talking. There. Now I did it. You guys saw it for a second. I had to restart the app. It's on a 60-second timer. Most people aren't going to be sitting here and talking through it and pointing at all these little things. You're just going to rock and roll, right? So if it's not working, all you have to do, guys, okay, if you spent too much time, maybe you were cycling through menus like I was or something like that, all you have to do, close Export Manager and relaunch it, and it'll grab it and put it to where you want. So now this is my 4K monitor. Okay, so this is exactly the play or the screen that I wanted it to be on. Meanwhile, I can still see my other window perfectly fine. So this is a really slick tool, guys. And you know, again, I don't have my camera set up, so I can't show you the MFPs, or the MFDs. But I can promise, when I load into the F-18, my MFDs are exported. Everything's looking exactly the way I want. I have access to the whole shebang. And you can do this with any kind of display you want, as long as it's connected to the computer. We don't have any kind of Wi-Fi export or anything like that, but me being me, it is something that I'm looking at. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys are excited about this. I hope it makes you go ooh and ah at the very least. Again, this will be shipping with Hangar Control. So if you guys are interested in picking up yet another cool tool for flight simulation that will continue to expand like anything else, consider going to Overkill Simulations and picking up your copy of Hangar Control. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for more.